Now before we get started, because recent events and current themes of transhumanism agendas are very challenging to understand more deeply, we need to clarify how we protect our personal sovereignty and spiritual light while being exposed to artificial intelligence transmissions and auric scans. And for our purposes in learning how to empower ourselves to better discern artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI, and their alien machines, it is important to remember that is 100% related to your skill set and ability in discerning negative ego fear-based programs that are laced with deception, and many times emotional manipulation and gaslighting scenarios. The single most grave circumstance that occurs is when a person is accessing any kind of energetic intelligence, or in contact with some sentient being that is being perceived through higher sensory perception, intuition, or any kind of clairvoyance, clairaudience, or what's known as channeling of spiritual information, of which that person truly believes to be accurate, but many times is actually being manipulated and supplied partial information through an imposter, trickster, or deceptive dark being, that is using a type of artificial intelligence in order to communicate. So, when we are unaware of what the negative ego and predator mind profile is, it becomes more challenging in getting accurate and clear results from higher sensory perception. Many times, if a person is engaged with any form of abuse of his or her own spiritual power through superimposing one's will over another person or thing, this is an abuse of spiritual power and is in direct violation of the cosmic sovereign law of one. This is a common pattern of spiritual abuse in society today, and of course within spiritual communities as well. Largely due to a lack of life experiences, where strong ethical and moral characters have been built, and as well, a lack of knowledge of the larger picture of the negative alien agenda and archontic deception strategies, as well as many times a lack of personal self-love, all which contribute to a lack of developing a strong core self and personal integrity. To help us comprehend the importance on the spiritual path of developing virtues, goodness, and ethics, with a strong foundation in humanitarian-based ethics, while we are clearing out fear-based ego belief systems, we must understand the collective mind of the people on this earth are easily controlled or manipulated into the many mind control programs, which use artificial intelligence. Without developing spiritual strength or inner core strength, and without understanding how to live in accordance to the best of one's ability in service to the law of one, a person's higher sensory perception can be severely distorted through this kind of ego confusion and AI thought manipulation, from many different sources that influence the world of forces. So, understand that no being can exist within cosmic sovereign law, and simultaneously be performing actions in violation of that law. As once we are in violation of that law, that being is no longer sovereign when they choose to operate outside the law. So, in reclaiming sovereignty for oneself, one has the moral imperative to live in alignment to the law, and therefore claim that sovereignty, not only for oneself, but for all other life forms. It is imperative that there is no assertion to control another via manipulation or taking over another person's right to self-determination. This ethical and loving action is what destroys the impact of all artificial intelligence mind control and their alien machines from gaining control over the subject. To be God, sovereign, free, which is the action to accept personal sovereignty, one must protect and act in accordance to the sovereignty of others. If this is not upheld, even for those that are perceived as acting destructively, one can fall into a violation. The caveats with this law is that all beings are free in God's law. However, one is forfeited of that right to sovereignty if you abuse your power to intentionally harm or destroy others. So, this means those entities, no matter what hierarchy or rank they are, if they are using artificial intelligence, they have no sovereignty in the universal law because they have forfeited that right completely. To be sovereign and protected in universal law, One is on the evolution pathway to embody God's cosmic sovereign law and cosmic Christ consciousness. And this is the crystal star diamond sun body resurrected and risen through the unification of internal polarities that transform the light body via alchemical sacred marriage. One is either accepting of the principles of the universal law inherent in the cosmic crystal star or cosmic Christos to act harmlessly towards others, or not accepting. There is no pretending for a shortcut. Although the artificial intelligence programs run by the imposter spirits and archons does mimic the Christ consciousness with false light in order to trick humanity out of their direct access to their sovereign rights. In learning how to better communicate with cosmic Christ consciousness, here are some general guidelines to understand crystal star host, the cosmic Christ or God forces. Christos spirits are truth spirits that observe the law of one, personal sovereignty and consent of each person's right to exist in the way the person or being chooses. If harm is being perpetrated, they will protect the defenseless, if it is aligned to the law of one and is not interfering with a person's belief system. Christos and God Force will support those who pray for help and will contact any being from the basis of unconditional love, empathy, and compassion. There is no such thing as religion or discrimination. All is valued for its role in carrying out the higher purpose on the path to oneness. Christos and God Force do not coerce, impose will or manipulate. They are truth spirits. They will tell the truth when you ask a question, however, one must ask the right question to get the right answer, as they will not interfere with the spiritual growth experience of that person. Christos spirit cannot exist in this material density, unless the person creates the dwelling or space that they can exist within while on this earth. Christos spirits do not require or need energy. They are fully connected with the sustenance provided within the eternal Godhead. Christos spirits can travel anywhere interdimensionally. They have no limit of expression, no limit of communication, with the exception of the energetic requirements of a resonating vessel on Earth that can house or communicate with them. They cannot communicate with any person who does not request their communication and spiritual presence. Christos spirits cannot respond to a human person, who has directly chosen satanic or Luciferian authority as a god. This also includes artificial intelligence programs. Sometimes this covenant was made in past life or through parents or family of origin, and this covenant can pass down to the children. Generally, the imposter spirit has the parents dedicate the fetus to this satanic or Luciferian authority, which binds the child's soul to that spirit to bypass the consent to the law, and this is passed down in future generations. Christos does not impose its will and requires that the person ask and request for the direct intervention or sovereign teachings. Those that are contacted and asked to represent them on earth are from pre-birth agreements. Christos and God Force will require one's commitment to integrity to entrust you with larger pieces of spiritual knowledge. They will test one's heart, based on the integrity to serve others first, when giving life lessons. They will not interfere with one's life lessons and will support the need to know basis with given spiritual knowledge to help the person achieve gnosis. This Gnostic knowledge is to never be used for selfish or material gains or against another person or to inflict harm. If this occurs, many times they will leave until that person corrects themselves. They can act in tough love to make sure that you gain trust with God through the effective use of learning knowledge and then wisdom, during the life experience. I want to remind you that nothing is more powerful than your eternal God-Spirit connection, and the strong committed relationship to develop and expand personal consciousness through the virtues of loving kindness, compassion and empathy. These are all higher heart-based qualities that make a human a true human being. No person, no thing, no artificial intelligence or negative alien, can't take your divinity or humanity away from you, when you absolutely refuse to give your power away.